Let's go to New Zealand now because a New Zealand MP has held up a naked photo of herself in Parliament. The twist is it's a deep fake, and she did this to bring attention to the imagery that is so easy to do these days, it would seem. Laura McClure highlighted the dangers of the technology, saying it took her less than 5 minutes to create an image of her online.
This image is what we call a deep fake. It took me less than 5 minutes to make a series of deep fakes of myself. Scaringly, it was a quick Google search for the technology of what's available. Hundreds of sites, when you type in deepfake, nudify, into the Google search with your filter off, hundreds of sites appeared.
And Laura joins me now, I'm happy to say. Laura, thanks so much for your time. You're right, this is all too common. But first of all, I want to get to the personal, because even though you know this is not your body, it looks so real. So how did this personally affect you?
Yeah, it was absolutely terrifying. Firstly, having to speak in the House and knowing that I was about to hold up a deep fake, but because it looks so much like myself, that was even worse. It was really terrifying. So I knew it wasn't real, but at the same time, I felt like it needed to be done. It needed to be show how important this is and how easy it is to do, and also how much it can look like yourself.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, so it does have that effect. I'm sure you were nervous holding up that photo of yourself, which is not really yourself, in Parliament. But I suspect that you did this because you want to affect some change. What guardrails should be put around this technology that is becoming so easy to use for everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. So in New Zealand, we sort of have some legislation already in place around the likes of sharing somebody's actual nude without their consent, or like the likes of revenge porn. We had legislation that came into New Zealand in 2022. My members' bill aims to amend that to actually include deepfakes in it, because I believe they're just as harmful as, or if not more than, the real thing, because people can put you into all kinds of depraved videos, for example, and I think it's becoming a massive issue here in New Zealand. I'm sure it's showing up in schools across Australia as well, particularly with youth, because it's so easy to do. The technology piece behind it is the technology is readily available, and a lot of these sites are hosted offshore, and it would be extremely hard to actually look at ways in which we could regulate or control the technology. It'd be a little bit like whack-a-mole. You'd take one site down, another one would pop up. So my bill aims to actually criminalise the behaviour when you use AI to exploit other people and to bully them, essentially.
So what do you suggest to for the deterrent effect here, to criminalise this kind of behaviour? What's the deterrent? Are you talking about jail time, even for teenagers?
Yeah. Well, look, in the current legislation under revenge porn or sharing somebody's nude, for example, we have a maximum of 2 years imprisonment. I would expect there would probably not be 2 years imprisonment for youth, for example. But at the moment, there isn't really any major consequences, and schools are finding it really hard to get any kind of victim support, for example, because it's not specifically a crime. It's a bit of a loophole. It's a grey area within our legislation, and people are using that to abuse people, essentially.
What would you say to young people in particular about the impact that this can have on an individual? Because they might be doing this as a bit of a joke, not that you saw the funny side at all, not that there is a funny side, but what is your message this morning, Laura?
Yeah, my message would be, you're having a bit of a joke with your mates, you think it's just a little bit of fun. But the stories that I've heard from young people that have been affected by this are absolutely terrifying. We're seeing young people that are self-harming. Here in New Zealand, a young 13-year-old, just a baby, attempted suicide on school grounds after she was deep-faked. So it's not just a bit of fun, it's not a joke, it's actually really harmful. So not only would this legislation send a message around, there could be a jail time associated with this. Actually, it's more about that cultural shift to say this is not acceptable.
Laura, we really appreciate you giving your time for this important story this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.